North Carolina State University, who's been a longtime advocate for the Green Program at his campus. We'll have the opportunity to do some Q&A with him, and there'll be opportunities for all of you with us today at the end. We'll make sure that we've got time for everybody to get your questions asked as well. Alrighty, so we've got a lot to get through. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. So the Green Program was founded in 2009 by Melissa Lee, founded by students for students. She founded this organization as a student by identifying a gap in the education that was available just in general, but also specific to sustainable development, really believing in the mission of experiential education and getting on the ground and in person with industry leaders and academic leaders in a global context, working with locals around the world to educate for sustainable development. On this slide, you can see a taste of some of the locations where we've sent students and faculty to study and engage with sustainable development topics around the world. And in a minute, I'll show you our current portfolio of programs, which we're always expanding and building upon. So what is the Green Program? The Green Program is short-term programs abroad focused on sustainable development, as I mentioned. In that short-term period, we're able to pack in a lot of intentionally designed experiences that are all built to equip students and young professionals with the skills that they need to further sustainable development goals and achievements in the 21st century. You can see some of the skills that we're intentionally building into our program, including leadership, creativity, diversity, and cultural intelligence, just to name a few. TGP's mission is to educate and empower future sustainability leaders through innovative models of experiential education, travel, and adventure. So it's not just any one thing built into the program. We've got all kinds of things built into this model that includes being short-term and intensive. Again, the programs are short-term and intentionally built so that students are able, and young professionals are able to partake in this global experience, get abroad, engage with these topics, but able to fit it into their winter break, their spring break, or their summer break. I'll tell you a little bit about how we've done that with NC State in a bit, but our programs are also SDGs and career focused. So the Sustainable Development Goals, for those who aren't familiar, we work to embed them into our programs as they were launched. Each of our programs are educating and embedding specific SDGs into each program. And during the program, students are completing a capstone project where they're tasked with coming up with an entrepreneurial solution to address a pressing issue in sustainable development. Again, all of our programs, both our in-person travel-based programs, as well as our online, virtual, and professional certificate programs, are very career-focused. Our mission is to not just bring students abroad, but give them the experience in person and the education that they need to make a difference in the future workforce. So that has a heavy focus on skill building. Our programs are accessible, not just in terms of their length and nature, but also in making sustainable development topics applicable and accessible to a variety of majors. We really prioritize having an interdisciplinary cohort on our programs, as well as a very inclusive representation of students on our programs. Our programs are also cost effective and significantly less cost than other programs of their nature. And we pay very close attention to the long-term impact of our programs. We have a very close relationship with our alumni base. Students always tell me that one of the main benefits of having participated in the Green Program is access to the alumni network, which is a robust, growing, committed group of passionate individuals who've participated in any one of the Green Program's facilitated programs, who are committed to sustainable development and work with each other to make connections in the workspace, to provide insight to younger students who might be thinking about the Green Program or who have recently participated in the Green Program. And later on, I'll show you some studies that have been done about the long-term impact of TGP. So now that you have some insight into the general mission and model, I am very quickly going to take you through a tour of the programs that we have available to students at your campus. So I'll start with our travel-based traditional programs, which includes our programs done in Peru, in Cusco, with our partners at the Universidad San Ignacio de Loyola. Each of our programs, including this one, embed a number of things into that short-term experience. So we work with a local institutional partner who accredits the program. It's USO for our program in Peru. And we work with a local faculty member who's taking students through key topics related to water resource management and sustainable practices. In addition to the academic component, we're also bringing students out into the community where they're learning about the history and the culture and the present impacts and views on these topics and how it's impacting people on the ground. And a very important part of the program is industry access and immersion. So our programs bring students into facilities they wouldn't otherwise have access to. They're given tours, they're able to ask questions, able to meet with people in those industries, and really make those connections with industry on site. And all of that is tied together by the Capstone Project, which, as I mentioned, tasks students with getting into those interdisciplinary groups and coming up with an entrepreneurial solutions-based mindset to solve a pressing issue in sustainable development. In Japan, our program takes place in Fukushima. The focus of the Japan program is on disaster mitigation and nuclear to renewable transitions. Again, our programs are built to be accessible to any number of students who might have pre-existing academic study or knowledge of nuclear energy, as well as students who have an interest but are brand new to this topic. So students, we've got all kinds of students participating in this program. You do not need to be a nuclear engineer to participate, but this gets students on the ground. They're touring local nuclear facilities. They're working with local academics and local policy setters to understand the implications of nuclear energy in Japan and the commitment to a transition that Fukushima Prefecture has made in the wake of their nuclear meltdown. Our program in Nepal, this takes place in Kathmandu with our partners there, where they're able to study microgrid systems for nuclear development. And one of the really interesting and unique parts of this program is that local students from Kathmandu University are also participating in this experience. So students are studying at Kathmandu University, learning about microgrid systems, and bringing this energy to communities who did not previously have access to it. They'll be hiking into a local community who has been undergoing this process, and with local experts who are studying and overseeing this ongoing process. Our participants are able to dive in, take apart, meet with those communities, understand the impact, the interests, any questions that community might have, and do that alongside local students, which I think adds a lot of value to this program and localizing their understanding of this transition that a lot of communities are making in Nepal. Last but not least, for our travel-based programs, and this is one that's going to be near and dear to BK's heart. This is where we've sent most of our students from NC State, but not all of them, and he's been there himself. This is our program in Iceland, which is focused on renewable energy and innovation. So this program, I like to say that this is a very sticky program, and that students are taking classes on a glacier. They're able to study and talk about the effects of climate change firsthand while being there on a glacier out there in the beautiful nature of Iceland. As always, industry is built into every single one of our programs. So they're touring local facilities and learning about how Iceland has been able to source 100% of its energy from renewable energy sources. So they've got the nature, they're studying the effects firsthand. They're studying at Reykjavik University's Iceland School of Energy, a world-renowned institution paving the way and leading the way in renewable energy, and they're able to tour local industry as well. And as mentioned, just to give you a snapshot again of that Capstone project, this is a really key and central part of all of our programs, be they in person or online. Interdisciplinary groups, they're putting on their entrepreneurial hat. and coming up with a solution. They're guided through this throughout the program, and at the end, they pitch their final business idea with a solutions-based mindset. We've been excited to see a lot of alumni after the program taking these capstone projects back to their campus, continuing to work on it for academic projects, as well as after graduation, starting businesses based on the capstone project that they originally started with the Green Program. And we're always here to support those alumni in facilitating that. A big focus, as I mentioned, everything on our programs is very intentionally designed to provide and equip students with the skills that they need to solve sustainable development topics in the 21st century. A lot of that is done through leadership, through adventure and culture. So putting students in scenarios where they need to be a leader, they need to think on their feet. And so that's a very key part of our program. I know I'm going very quickly through all of this. Feel free to throw your questions in the chat, and I promise we'll try to get to them after. I just want to make sure we have enough time to chat with BK, so forgive me for flying through. We are now, though, past the traditional travel-based portion, and I want to tell you about the virtual program options, which includes this hybrid model that we've got for students. So we've got a range of online programs that students can partake in. These are programs that will be available to your students past the time of COVID, but of course have been key to helping and continuing to educate interested students on sustainable development topics in a global context with global connections throughout this period of travel restrictions and uncertainty. So one of those programs is a hybrid model. As I mentioned, it actually was awarded one of the top virtual study abroad programs by one of the leading study abroad websites in the industry. So we're very proud of that distinction. This is our Learn Now, Travel Later model, which allows students to still participate in the academic portion of the program, completing that capstone project, working and meeting with local institutions abroad to get that insight virtually and immediately. And then they're able to travel at a later date, given a number of travel options with a voucher to participate in that irreplaceable travel portion of the program once travel restrictions are lifted. Now, in addition to that, we have a number of completely online options. So this is for students who might not be interested to travel. These are lower cost than the travel-based programs. Students don't need to commit to taking time off work. This has been something that we've seen a lot of institutions, including North Carolina State University, take up with lots of enthusiasm from our faculty and staff partners, as well as students who are able to participate in these experiences, getting certificates or credit without having to leave their homes. So one of those options is our program on this is, and again, these next two are certificates. So one is done with our same partners in Nepal, and it's the Ethics of Sustainable Development. The certificate programs are 2 weeks long. And at the end of the certificate programs, with the focus being even more heavily on quantifying and qualifying students and skills that they need, and they're given a SMART certificate at the end of the program that helps them to articulate those skills, gives them industry insights into a number of different fields, helps them identify job opportunities or internship opportunities, and some coaching on how they might talk about this certificate and the experience that it provided them in that industry. So again, this first one is done with our same partners at Kathmandu University in Nepal, and the topic for this one is Ethics of Sustainable Development. And in a few more slides, we've had the wonderful opportunity to host quite a few North Carolina State University students on this certificate, and we're having more participate this summer. And I've got some nice quotes to provide you about the engineers at NC State and how they felt this certificate on ethics of sustainable development has provided a very comprehensive sustainability education to their majors. Our second certificate available to students is done with our partners in Peru, so Universidad San Ignacio de Loyola, and this one is on Indigenous knowledge of sustainability. So we're going to have our first iteration of this program this summer. We have got quite a few students from NC State signed up for it. It's a very important topic and one we're really excited to bring to everybody this summer. It does follow the same structure of the certificate that we've offered already in Nepal, so 2 weeks long, and at the end of it, they're given a smart certificate that they can add to their LinkedIn and use digitally to leverage this experience. Our final fully online option is bringing all the wonders of the Iceland program to a month-long, fully virtual experience that is done at your own pace. So again, for students who might not be able to travel because of COVID, or even past COVID longer term, they're able to conduct the full program completely online, as opposed to that hybrid model or waiting for the fully traditional travel program. A snapshot of impact. As I said, we keep close contact with all of our alumni. We've had a number of professional academic studies conducted on our programs, and I just want to give you some insight into what those studies have found. So one of our more recent studies conducted was done with Uppsala University in Sweden. We had a graduate student who was conducting their master's on educating for sustainable development, and the specific models that have the greatest amount of impact in delivering these education programs. So from that study that was conducted, we were very open, having them study all of our programs. They participated. It was very exciting to see what they would come up with, and obviously hoping for the best, and thrilled to find very positive results about the impact of our program. I'm happy to share that study with anyone who is interested. I'll have my contact information at the end of the presentation. But just one thing that we can pull out from that presentation is that 95% of TGP students experience a sustainability related shift, with an increase in awareness and consciousness of personal impact, personal exchange, and expertise in sustainability issues. Some other findings from working with our alumni is just that 99% of students say TGP refined their purpose professionally, personally, and academically. And 4 in 5 alumni say they've been asked about the experience in a job interview. So as always, really prioritizing those career impacts, and excited to see that manifesting. And as you can see, here's a snapshot of where our alumni are working. They're playing a role as sustainability coordinators and furthering sustainability outcomes in these organizations: NASA, Boeing, GE, Nike, Tesla, as just a small snapshot. And again, as mentioned, our alumni base is very active and committed. They work closely together to provide each other with connections to different organizations, insight, having worked at these corporations and large organizations. And a lot of them also have volunteered to act as a mentor at the Green Program, which means that they're working with us to advise current students and undergraduates who may be interested to participate in the Green Program, or who have participated. And so they're having events with us throughout the year where they're answering questions and talking to students about how to break into sustainability industries, how to bring sustainability missions to whatever industry they want to break into. Okay. University partners. So that gives you some insight into our programs, the mission, the models, the impact. Here is just a snapshot of some of the universities that we work with. And I want to take you through the different ways that we typically work with universities. However, emphasizing that we love to get creative. Our mission is to bring your classroom to life. So whatever ideas your campus might have, be that a specific academic department or the study abroad office, we're always open to having that conversation. But these are the typical ways that we work with universities when we decide that we want to formalize a relationship and make the experience of finding the Green Program and then registering for the Green Program, getting credit and things like financial aid more accessible to your students. So the first would be an affiliate partner. It's fairly straightforward. It is just a formalization of a relationship between the Green Program and your campus, typically taking place through the study abroad office with support and coordination with different academic departments. And this affiliate partnership streamlines things like reporting on what students are doing on the program, providing insight into who's signing up, what they're doing, what they're getting when they're complete. We're able to collaborate on things like credit, having a point of contact, group pricing, and scholarships provided to our affiliate partners, and reporting on things for things like risk management and enrollment. Another way that we work very commonly with universities is through faculty-led programs. This can include a number of things. It can include a faculty member who wants to bring students abroad. That's something that we've done with NC State, and they might bring students in a large group. They might want to simply join a green program. Potentially they want to add things on before or after. And of course, we're always able to advise and help to support the creation of something more customized that includes the green program as the baseline product of what they want to do abroad. Another way that we work with faculty and with academic departments, and this is something that I've seen get more and more popular over the years, is what we call our embedded courses. And this allows faculty interested in providing the experience of the green program or requiring the experience of the green program, be that a certificate or a traditional travel-based program, to their students, to do that without having to bring that group abroad or be responsible for bringing those students abroad. So we've seen a number of academic departments and faculty members have a semester-long course, for example, at their campus. And in the spring break term, in the winter term, after or before that semester-long course, or potentially in the Maymester or summer term after that semester-long course, students as part of that course are going to participate in a green program experience. So traditionally, that's looked like the travel program. So for example, at Penn State, students might enroll in a course that is provided through the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. And you can see we've got a little partner case study in the corner of the faculty member we work with there for that. So if they're enrolled in that course, part of that course is required a global experience, and the green program is one of a short list of options that students are able to pick to fulfill that requirement and go abroad with the green program in Iceland or Peru specifically as part of getting credit for that semester-long course. So the embedded course can look like a lot of different things. And finally, what we like to call our innovation partners is where we get out of the box and think creatively with different institutions. This includes a joint master's degree that we run in partnership with Antioch University of New England. And it also includes professional certificate programs outside of the ones that we host ourselves with our global partners. And this is something that we might do in partnership with graduate departments in the US. And we're able to develop a certificate that embeds our travel-based programs into a certificate that they want to provide through academic instruction locally in the US. Alrighty, so NC State, I'm gonna go through just some quick background stats, quotes about our partnership with NC State, and then I'm gonna unmic BK and start asking him questions about his experience as the faculty sponsor of this program. So just for some background, and we've got a picture of one of our NC State students here up on the page. This is our lovely alumna, Georgia Hanby, and that's a picture of her in Nepal. She's actually been abroad with us a few times, including to Iceland as well as Nepal. So our relationship started a few years back with the College of Engineering first and expanded into the study abroad office and full campus after that. We run 2 faculty-led traditional travel-based programs to Iceland during their Maymester term. So they go abroad in that Maymester. We're also approved through the main study abroad office. So in addition to that faculty-led partnership with the College of Engineering, we've also got students from other majors or the College of Engineering signing up on an individual basis for any of our programs in any location and doing that throughout the year as they select. And since 2019, since we formalized our relationship, we've hosted 93 students on travel programs. 9 have participated this past spring in a certificate program, and we've got 17 signed up for a certificate with us this summer. This is also more pictures of Georgia, and here's just a quote that she has about her experience on the green program. She said, "This study abroad experience taught me much more about life, energy, the environment, and global communities than I ever could have imagined." And this is from doing our travel-based programs. And some quick quotes about these certificates, these professional certificates, and specifically the Ethics of Sustainable Development certificates that their College of Engineering students have completed. Here's what they had to say. So I'll read them quickly for you. One student said, "It is a beneficial addition because often ethics and the human aspect of projects is overlooked by the economic value and the impact on the community that it will have. Being more aware of the ethics of any project introduces a more human side to the project plan, and it raises interesting questions to ponder upon. My favorite part about this course was being able to relate what we talked to everyday events or more personal issues. Another student said this course helped me to gain a more humanistic approach to problem solving, as opposed to finding simply technical solutions. It helps me understand that even if I think a solution is good because it solves a problem from an engineering perspective, it might not be the best solution in terms of how it might affect society and the communities where a solution might be implemented. And finally, I am studying computer science, so the talk of sustainability does not come up much in my courses. However, I think that it is essential to be discussing it because computer science is basically the study on how we can develop the world technologically. We cannot do this if the world is suffering under the weight of poverty and unrest among citizens of nations. Taking this course allowed me to open my mind more and think more efficiently on how I can apply my knowledge to helping the world become a more sustainable, safe planet for future generations. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. If you guys wanna contact me, I'm Megan at the Green Program, but I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. We'll get into hearing from BK now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Megan, and thank you, Jessica and Melissa, for inviting me in today to talk to you 12. It's wonderful to see everybody's names there. Some actually are quite familiar, and whether you're a student from Boise State like you, Kendra, or a faculty member perhaps, considering some of the things that I have experienced as well at NC State, I commend you for being here to learn more about the Green Program and its opportunities. And to also start off, I commend Melissa and her entire team for working magic in many ways, moving mountains back in 2009 and making this an opportunity for so very many people. And I'm proud at NC State, it's gained momentum over the years. And we're at a point where, just like what Megan shared, 8 students are doing, I believe, the Peru certificate this summer, and 9 doing the Nepal certificate this summer. And it's something that we truly believe in as educators, as just in higher education in general. And so this leads to student success, 2 words that are absolutely paramount to all of us at NC State University, and I'm sure it's to each and every one of you 12 as well. Well, student success is literally your success, specifically students. And that is our #1 priority at NC State University. And so programs like the Iceland, but certainly all the others, Nepal and Japan and Peru and so forth, lead tremendously to that student success through some of the quotes that you just saw. And we've implemented it, the partnership in many ways at NC State University, as Megan had said. Yes, it's affiliate a partnership in a sense, because not only has our College of Engineering, which that's what I'm from, but our study abroad office has adopted these opportunities for our students. And yes, students can go on a 1 and 2 type of basis, just choosing a program they would like to participate in. But we also have the second thing, a faculty-led program in a sense. And sometimes we do send a faculty, but other times it's just simply a program and an opportunity for more of a larger cohort from our university to participate. And then, of course, as she mentioned, the embedded part of it, the coursework is essential, because our students will come back for with 1 or even 2 credits of topics like renewable energies, and that will count toward their degrees, specifically in our College of Engineering. And lastly, just the innovation side of it, we've really tried to work out new areas that we can take advantage of together, the Green Program and ourselves at NC State University. So that's a little bit of a snapshot, and I'd be happy to get into some more of the little nuts and bolts that are key, like those embedded courses, or like sending a faculty perhaps, but be reassured that it's wonderful if you're alone or if you're with a group from a university. And if you're a faculty from a university, creating one of these programs is quite easy, because Melissa and Jessica and Megan and their team make it entirely possible, and the on-site hosts are tremendous. And the topics are truly aligned with any topic, I believe, that is pertinent in higher education. And what I'm referring to specifically is with our College of Engineering, and myself, I'm a civil engineer and construction engineer. And as you can tell, I've been at NC State forever. This is my 26th year. And so with the National Academy of Engineering, we have things called grand challenges. And these are the most complex challenges that face our nation and world. And really, the National Academy of Engineering defined 14 of those, right? Well, they could have probably extrapolated up to 4,000 complex issues that we all have to address as engineers and just as human beings in general. Or they could, of course, pared it down to like 4, right? But nonetheless, they picked 14. And one of them, for instance, is around renewable energies, or many of them actually fall right around renewable energies. And that's why the Iceland program piqued our interest early on. Because back in 2009, when Melissa was creating this team and this opportunity, we were working on integrating those grand challenges into our culture at NC State University, starting with our first year engineers and all the way up to our graduating seniors. And now, of course, it's even at the graduate level in a sense, but it's, again, I'm talking mostly undergraduate right now. And with those grand challenges, we thought of many opportunities we could take advantage of. And that's when I personally ran across the green team. And there was a Costa Rica program back in the day that was appealing. But many constraints existed. Of course, investing in students to get to Costa Rica was one of them. And for instance, the experience of even students buying into the fact that why would this be a value-added program? And then another constraint of, for instance, how is the class going to actually work if it counts at all? And it wasn't in that case, right? But each of these constraints over the years have been tackled by the experience, by Megan and by Jessica, by Melissa, and by the entire team. And it's really made a remarkable experience, because now the students will actually earn a transcript, which we all know in higher education, that's kind of important, right? To have a transcript of 1 or 2 credits. So now at NC State, not only will the students get credit for it, but that credit will actually count and progress them toward degree. And so somebody like yourself, Kendra, at Boise State, I hope that the same thing occurs, because these classes are absolutely things like advised electives, technical electives. In our case, we even call them general education electives, which every engineer and every student on our campus has to take. And this will knock out 1 or 2 credits for them. And so that's, again, just one of the wonderful value-added opportunities. But then also, we invest in our students. For instance, the 8 and 9 students, which is 17 total, coming this summer, or just doing the virtual option, we're investing in them. So yeah, they have a little bit of skin in the game, but we as a university have put monies toward what we call high impact experiences. And those really come in 4 buckets, I would call it, right? So it's unique to NC State University, but those are things like work, things like international, which this aligns with both, things like service, which this aligns even with that 3rd thing, and then even research, which it actually aligns with all 4, believe it or not. And that's why we are a huge a huge advocate of the green opportunities. It's tremendous for our students and totally aligns with everything that we're preaching at NC State that leads to student success. So with that said, I suppose that's a very, very general overview, but Megan, hopefully that gets us started with where we'd like to go.
Absolutely, BK. Thank you for that background. And yeah, you've been such a wonderful partner over the years and a champion for our programs. I'm curious, how did you find out about the Green Program? Who tipped you off, or where did you find us originally?
It's funny you ask, Megan, because quite honestly, it wasn't 2009 when Melissa created the opportunities. It was more like 2010-ish, because in 2009, we were at NC State creating the grand challenges, trying to build that into our culture, whether it was starting at our first year engineering level with certain classes that would be offered, or new opportunities, or expos, or just experiences that they would have. And then, of course, it led to another new word, which is which is high impact experiences. We started having exist right around 2011-ish. And between, at the same time, those 2 things were really kind of occurring. I was doing some searches and of course ran across not only a very user-friendly website, that Melissa and her team have created over the years. But of course, having that international interest at the time, and certainly for all of our students, if that fit their appropriate career path, it just piqued my interest. And the coolest thing was, it was fully canned, so to say. You know, Melissa and Megan and Jessica and the entire Green the team made these opportunities literally turnkey solutions for students, and so we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. And that really contributed to it, because of course in the College of Engineering, our first and foremost mission is not sending students overseas necessarily. You know, there's other competing interests like undergraduate research, like work. Our students at NC State get tremendous jobs at amazing companies that are, again, affiliated in many ways to these programs, and also the service. So international was by far not the only thing we preached, but the fact that Green all of a sudden aligned with all four, it seemed like the stars were aligning. So great question, Megan, and thank you for asking that. Interesting reflection.
Yeah, that was great to hear how we helped align all those missions that you've got in your department and campus. I'm wondering, you know, we've sent quite a number of students abroad to study with us in Iceland in particular, but also in other locations. And we've also got, with the support of funding from your department, a lot of students participating in the professional certificate programs now, which has been really exciting to see. I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more, and I know this is one of your main missions, is the impact, but can you tell us more about the impact that you see on students who participate in the Green Program?
Fantastic question, Megan, and I'd be more than happy to talk about that, because really that word impact is near and dear to my heart. I use it quite a bit when I'm talking with students and when we're delivering speeches to our prospects and recruits that come to NC State, as well as throughout NC State while the students are in our Wolfpack family. And then even beyond, technically, once they're in our alumni, once they're an alumnus. And, you know, in our Wolfpack family, we preach impact. And so that is certainly a way to do it when you're overseas at any one of these programs. When they're looking for jobs, our employers, you know, they'll tell us that they ask these students about their international experiences. In the beginning, that's how we kind of sold or encouraged students to take advantage of international experiences. But that's the easy sell, quote, so to say, or the value add of the Green experience, is that employers value that experience out of our students. And of course, our engineers are first and foremost looking for these dream jobs to make that impact down the road. And this further assists that. And of course, some are more interested in the research side, and they do want to go off and work for government agencies and so forth. And so it also, with these capstone projects, works on that. But when you're actually taking advantage of the opportunities, for instance, in Iceland, and I can speak about that one very intelligently because I actually did attend the program for a few days with our students and got to see and hear exactly what they were experiencing, but then also to hear from them afterwards. And never in all of my years have I ever heard even one bad thing about any of the programs or the online virtual experiences that are happening right now, or the live ones that happened prior to 2019. And they would only rave about it and talk about how it helped them, you know, as a soundbite, land their dream job. Or even from people like Georgia Hanby that Megan highlighted before. She serves as one of our engineering ambassadors at NC State. So she's the Green Program is probably best, you know, advocate and, you know, biggest voice on our NC State campus, other than perhaps mine. But nonetheless, I preach it at every turn I possibly can. But I know that Georgia does as well. And during her, you know, extra 2 or 3 year purview after her experience, she talks constantly about that experience. As a matter of fact, if you happen to be a faculty member, there's another value add, right? So I always deliver speeches to our prospects and recruits, as I had mentioned, right? Hundreds and thousands of people that are considering NC State University. Well, imagine when they hear sound bites from Georgia, for instance, about her experience. You know, it's amazing. And so it's truly what I would call a win-win. So it's value added. So Megan, I don't know if that even began to answer that question, but the impact is so very important and it's everywhere. And it's something I highly encourage. And you know what? You've heard the word sustainability and you've heard the word service today. And that's really another one of those huge value adds of all these experiences, because that is a key to all students in college right now, as we all know. And as I know you feel, Kendra.
That was wonderful, BK. And it actually segues perfect into my next question for you, because I'm curious. And I think we saw some quotes speaking to this on that presentation from the students who participated in the ethics certificate. But what do you think is the importance and value for an engineer to, and again, our programs are not limited to only engineers, but BK being in the College of Engineering at NC State, what is the importance, would you say, of studying and engaging with sustainability topics for an engineer?
Absolutely essential for all of us. Everybody on this call today and discussion is that I hope that each and every one of you choose to make an impact on this world, because that's what it's all about. And that impact starts day number one. And I'm not talking about necessarily after graduation. It happens right when you're entering college. That first day, take advantage of undergraduate research. Start applying for internships and co-ops. Apply for programs like this for international to take advantage of during your first spring break, for instance, or your first summer. Because you know what? Again, to use that word win-win, these programs are usually only a few days long, sometimes 12, a little bit longer in some cases. And so you can do multiple things in a summer. And you'd be amazed if you come out with an experience like, for instance, the Iceland program or Nepal program, and then you come out of that summer with an internship, or you continue that study abroad somewhere else, or extend it in that location. How absolutely amazing. And then along the way, you're probably going to do service, because in many ways, these countries that you'll be visiting are just like here in America, where, where there's a will, there's a way. You can make a difference with local communities and families in the area that you will meet and so forth. And yes, you will see some of the greatest corporations as well at times, and unique areas of something you might think you might know about a lot, but you really are just scratching the surface with. For instance, on renewable energies. Myself, I've been a civil and construction engineer now. I earned my degree way back in 1995, probably before many of you all were born. And well, from the University of Wisconsin, I came to NC State University. And quite honestly, I started delving into things that became what's called the grand challenges, right? Just these major complex problems, because that's what our first year engineers are going to do. They're the future, future leaders throughout industry. There's no doubt about it. And now, obviously, many already are. But when you learn about topics like renewable energies, you think you understand a lot, and you try to understand a lot, but you also realize you don't know everything by any means, because the more you're going to learn in this world, the more you're going to realize what you don't know. And that is so apparent when, for instance, I went to Iceland, learning all about geothermal energy that the students were learning about, and to see how they're a leader in the world on that specific renewable energy. It's no different than, for instance, the renewable energy down in Brazil, which I've had the pleasure to be able to visit many times. And that's, renewable energy more with ethanol, and so our engineers are very attracted to that, on how ethanol can be done from sugarcane, which is totally renewable, versus here in America, there's different products that are used. But geothermal in Iceland, going back to the point, it's amazing to learn from all of the gurus, so to say, and the companies that you might visit, or the universities that you go to, or even the students that you just are with day in and day out. It's immaculate. It's amazing. Thank you, Megan. Yeah.
Another incredible response and wonderful feedback, BK. I've got two more questions for you, and then I want to make sure that we've got time for everybody else. So everybody here with us, if you could just prepare the questions that you've got and throw them into the chat, we'll get to them just after these final two quick questions. So one, BK, and you touched on this before, but do you have any advice for a staff or faculty member who's thinking about working with the Green Program?
Yes, if any of you 12 are a staff or faculty member, I highly, highly recommend it. Whether you're on the younger side or more on the veteran side, like myself, I believe in it, that you should do it and take advantage of it because it could help your own professional development, but more importantly, help the student success of everybody that you're involved with. And if you can navigate some of those constraints I talked about, that will further help it tremendously. But at the very least, promote the green program to your students throughout the university that you might work with. Because like I said, onesies and twosies, as I call it, a student that is truly passionate about this experience, at the very least, they can take advantage of it. But at the very most, you might be able to send multiple students on a cohort. You might be able to get an embedded course somehow through your course and curriculum committees. You might be able to create a fund that we have now at NC State called Engineer Your Experience, EYE fund, for the green program specifically, and other high impact experiences. And then of course, it just helps build your culture. So that would be my quick answer, Megan.
Love that. Thanks, BK. And my last question for you is, having been in Iceland with us, what do you think, what are your favorite parts of the Iceland program?
You know, that is a phenomenal question. So first and foremost, just being there with the students, seeing their experience. Just, you know, you talk about that impact, right? Well, you know, I suppose my impact was maybe making the first one possible, right? Along with the green program, their team making that possible. But it was really like smelling the roses in many ways, that in one small way, I just knew that it made a difference in everybody's life. And it resounded with many of them, because now the ball is truly rolling all by itself in many ways. But the other thing I have to say is about Iceland. It was very attractive for some reason. I don't know why that was necessarily, but Iceland was a place because of the renewable energies that we always wanted to visit and see for our own eyes, and it did not disappoint. Amazing. As a matter of fact, I think some of you all might go during the winter and see the Northern Lights, which we did not see, obviously, but amazing experiences. And really just the overall program, Megan, the gurus, so to say, that, or the hosts that you put on site on all these programs, they're very knowledgeable and they're very good at connecting with the cohort. So thank you, Megan. And thank you for this opportunity, everybody, to talk with you guys. I hope that you take advantage of this. Kendra at Boise State, make this a possibility. And the rest of you all definitely keep having that fire lit.
Love that. That's very motivating, BK. And we'd love to have you come back in the winter to see those Northern Lights. We've got another faculty member we work with who has been running programs like you guys in the Maymester for years. And this year we're gonna bring that faculty member abroad with us in winter. So gonna, see Iceland in a different season, and that's exciting. So again, we've got more time. If anybody has any questions for BK, for myself, questions, any ones that you've got, go ahead and throw them into the chat. While we wait for any questions to come in, if anybody has any, I just want to say again that I'm Megan. I'm the Director of University Partnerships. I'm happy to talk with any of you about working with us. I've got a few colleagues with me here today. If you're a student, you can find more out about the green program. I know Jess has thrown some links into the chat for you to check out, but you can find us at thegreenprogram.com, and you can email Jess directly at info@thegreenprogram.com. So yeah, we're both here, happy to talk through any questions that anybody might have. And Jess, yeah, as you mentioned, we've got a number of other events throughout the day. You can check us out. We're gonna have program alumni and young professionals on Instagram Live. So if anybody is interested, head on over to our Instagram page and you'll be able to hear all about what our young professional alumni are up to after having done the green program. So we've got 3 of them throughout the day. We've got one at 2, one at 5, and one at 6. And yeah, looking forward to seeing anybody there. If there's no questions, I just want to say, yeah, thank you from myself as well. It's been a pleasure to host you, to walk you through a quick snapshot of what the green program is all about and the programs that we've got available, and love being able to bring the insight and wisdom and experience of BK to everybody here today. So Thank you all again, and we look forward to connecting with you in the near future. All right, stay safe, everybody. Take care.